All right, welcome back to the Daily Brief, where there's a lot that we have been covering. Of course, today is quite a busy Monday, a brand new week, a brand new month. And there is a lot that we will be covering now. We'll start off by telling you what to expect in the next few minutes regarding what live events we'll be covering, Samuel.
And talking about live events, Shiksha, we will be telling you what is happening at the Jubilee headquarters this morning, where all aspirants who expect to contest the Kibra by-election, at least on a Jubilee ticket, are expected to table their papers today. And we've got some action there. Those are Mariga supporters who are currently there, and we shall be giving you more details in as far as this story is concerned.
And it's also quite a busy day in courts today, as of course the divorce case that is pitting Meru Senator Mithika Linturi against former Chief of Staff at the Deputy President's office, that's Marianne Kaitani. It continues today, and of course we'll definitely be giving you the live action as it happens from the courts regarding what happens. Remember, Senator Linturi today will be taking his stand. So yes, that's something that we're also going to be covering up in the next few minutes.
And talking about the courts are still coming from that particular venue today is Kiambu Law Courts, where Sarah Kamotho, the wife of missing Dutch tycoon, that is Tob Cohen, has been arraigned at Kiambu Law Courts, and we expect that to be developing today. So expect more details in as far as this particular story is concerned.
All right, for now, taking you directly through the local news update. And of course, the killer Oljorowa Gorge in Hell's Gate National Park has been closed indefinitely following the death of 7 people, among them 6 tourists who were swept away by flash floods on Sunday. Now, 1 tourist is still missing, with a search and rescue mission led by KWS officials currently ongoing. A chopper to help in this search has since been sent from Nairobi. The 7 people are believed to have been among a group of people taking an excursion at the famous gorge when flash floods swept through. Now, in 2012, a group of 7 youth members from Mukarara PCEA Church in Nairobi's Dagoretti lost their lives at the same site after being swept away by flash floods.
Also today, Ford Kenya Party has unveiled its candidate for the Kibra parliamentary by-election set to be held on November 7th. The party, led by Bungoma Senator Moses Wetangula, on Sunday unveiled this particular candidate, who will be vying for this particular seat on a Ford Kenya ticket. The seat fell vacant following the death of Ken Okoth, who is the immediate former member of parliament, Kibra. And speaking during their unveiling, Butishi vowed to transform the livelihoods of Kibra residents if elected. Other parties set to contest in the polls include ODM, Jubilee and Amani National Congress.
And of course, we'll also be taking you through what's happening away from our borders and what's making headlines in international news, where the most powerful storm to hit the Caribbean islands of the Bahamas since records began has torn roofs from buildings and caused severe flooding. Hurricane Dorian, a Category 5 storm, has sustained winds of up to 285 kilometers per hour, and officials have warned that a life-threatening storm surge of 7 m is also predicted in places. Now, the hurricane is moving slowly westwards and may hit areas of the eastern U.S. seaboard. The U.S. states of Florida, Georgia, North and South Carolina have all declared a state of emergency.
And still staying with the international front is that the death toll in Saturday's mass shooting in Texas has risen to 7. The shooting at Texas' 2nd in August began when police stopped a car between the cities of Midland and Odessa. The gunman wounded at least 20 people, including a 17-month-old girl. Police later shot dead the gunman near a cinema. Although the motive of the gunman, who was white and in his mid-30s, remains unclear, officials say they believe he had no connection to terrorism.
And of course, moving on, Pope Francis yesterday apologized for arriving late for his weekly prayer in St. Peter's Square, saying he was stuck in a lift in the Vatican. The 82-year-old pontiff said he had been trapped in the lift for 25 minutes because of a power outage before he was freed by firefighters. He then asked the crowd for a round of applause for the firefighters. Addressing the crowd, the Pope said there had been a drop in voltage and the elevator stopped.
Do you imagine that?
I've been there, done that, so I agree.
You've been stuck in an elevator.
Yes, I have, for more than 30 minutes. So I agree with the sentiments of the Pope. It needs a lot of work, and firefighters have done a fantastic job.
But at least he was able to show up later for the mass, and it was conducted in earnest. But now we go back to Kiambu, where Sarah Kamotho, wife to missing Dutch tycoon Tob Cohen, has been arraigned in Kiambu law courts this morning. So let's cross over to this venue and get to listen in to the proceedings in court as of now. Right, and that is what has been happening, or is currently happening, at Kiambu Law Courts. But we'll still keep tabs with the courts, and Shiksha will be telling us what is happening in Milimani Law Courts.
All right, of course, as we said earlier, the divorce case between Senator Linturi as well as officer, that is Deputy President's Office, Marianne Kitani. Today, well, it's ongoing, and of course, there's been 3 court sessions that have already happened, and right now, the magistrate has officially made an appearance, and we'll be listening in to what's happening from the courts on that end. Let's listen in.
Of EW1, I can confirm both sides are ready. My learned friend, Mr. Mari, as a preliminary housekeeping matter you want to raise with the court, maybe we can dispense with that, and then we get off.
It has been brought to my attention, the attention of the team representing the plaintiff or petitioner, that the Nairobi branch of the Law Society of Kenya has raised an issue in the manner and conduct of this matter. Seen not been officially served. We've seen in the social media a complaint that these proceedings should not be open to the public. And I wish to reiterate that was the position at some times, but in this matter, my client did waive her right to being heard in camera. My client, as I indicated, Your Honor, is a 44-year-old intellectual with 2 master's degrees, with a capacity to know what is good for her, and therefore, by her own volition, she accepted that this divorce be conducted in public. Your Honor, a casual look at the Marriage Act and the provisions guiding the procedures of divorce as counsel There is no provision that has been
I
flouted.
can learn to understand you much better if I can get familiar with the way you talk.
There is no provision in the rules, in the substantive law, in the practice directions that such a matter cannot be conducted in this way. You know, it is our position. Anybody.
Right, of course, that is Dunstan Omari, and we'll be giving you more details regarding that particular case between Meru Senator, that is Mithika Linturi, and his alleged wife, who goes by the name of Marianne Kitani. So we'll be covering that particular story in detail, and of course, we'll be at the courts trying to get an update and of course further developments regarding what happens with that case.
Absolutely. And that is not the only story that we're following up for you this hour. We need to cross over to Jubilee headquarters and bring in our reporter Dennis Matara, who now joins us live with an update on what exactly has been happening at this particular venue. Dennis Matara, thank you so much for joining us right about now. Bring us up to speed with what's happening at the Jubilee headquarters, Dennis.
Yes, and Njoroge, right about now, these are supporters of McDonald Mariga, a former football player who's also showed interest in vying for the Kibra constituency by-election seat. That is about, as you can see right now, these are the supporters who are actually being pushed off from this area. This is outside the Jubilee headquarters here in Nairobi. And the supporters here, they had earlier on in the morning brought their aspirant, that is Donald Mariga. And what is happening at this area is that there is 16 aspirants who have been cleared by Jubilee, and right about now what is happening is that they are undergoing vetting in closed-door meeting, which is underway, and we're expecting that by the end of the day they will have come out with one particular candidate who will be their flag bearer. So we are told by the headquarters, that from the headquarters, is that we'll be briefed later on to know exactly who they chose and why probably they chose that particular candidate. But outside here, these are only supporters of Mariga. Remember, he was an Inter Milan player who has also showed interest among other 16 candidates. Remember, Jubilee will not be going for the party nominations. What they have decided is that to have a closed-door meeting with the contestants so that they will be able to pick one particular candidate who will face other candidates from other parties. ODM had also is also planning to have their party primaries later. 7 candidates who will face each other before the party gets their flag bearer. An area that Kibra is an area that they say is an area mostly guarded by the ODM party, which believes that it holds most popularity in the area. But as you can see, also Jubilee has shown interest, and it is going to face each. They are going to face each other in this by-election that is slated later in November. So right about now, we will be waiting to see what the Jubilee leaders will tell us once they decide who will be their flag bearer, as their supporters of Mariga are happy out here, and of course hopefully their candidate will be chosen for that party ticket. And as you can see, police are also on standby just because of to cause chaos, so they are trying to push them a little bit back from the entry, the gates of the Jubilee headquarters, just to ensure that everything is safe. So Njoroge, from here at the Jubilee headquarters, we can say that we'll just keep you posted once the meeting, once the party selects their candidates. That announcement will be made. We will also bring you that live from the Jubilee headquarters. Back to studio.
Right, thank you so much, Dennis Matara, for that update live from the Jubilee headquarters this morning. Remember, as he says, there is a closed door meeting currently ongoing, where after this particular meeting, Jubilee Party is going to, or is expected to, unveil its candidate for the Kibra by-election that is slated for November this year.
All right, of course, as we continue to cover what's happening in the courts, there is just an update regarding the case between Meru Senator, that is Mithika Linturi, and of course his alleged wife. There we go, there she goes. That is Marianne Kitani. So yes, we'll listen in to what's happening from there directly at Milimani Law Courts.
Right.
I want to raise a serious objection. This is a matter 1044-2018 has not been concluded. This is a matter that is alive before another competent court with jurisdiction. Your Honor, my client cannot be cross-examined on matters that are alive before another court. Now that probably the court has allowed us to proceed live, that court might be hearing and watching her submitting there. It is not fair. Your Honor, we object. It can only be mentioned, but she cannot be cross-examined on a matter. This court cannot sit as an appellate court. This court cannot be invited to make a finding of a matter that is likely to also be made a finding from another court. It will be a total embarrassment of the independence of that court and this court. Therefore, Your Honor, we do pray that it can only be mentioned, but she cannot be cross-examined on matters that are alive before your other judicial officers.
I don't know what legal basis my senior, rather my colleague, would have in raising the objection. He seems not to have realized why we cross-examine witnesses. We cross-examine witnesses, number one, to test the veracity of the allegations they have made in court. In this case, this court. The law on cross-examination, and we can open it, that's why we carry this machine of mine, allows witnesses to be cross-examined on prior inconsistent statements. These witnesses come to you claiming to be married to the respondent. She has made a written statement which is filed in a court of law, which was used to obtain release from a court of law, in which she concedes that she is not married to the respondent. That's what I meant last time we were here, Your Honor, that we cannot protect our clients from the truth and justice. Either this witness is lying to this court, or she was lying to the other court. And that's why the law permits cross-examination of witnesses on prior.
And of course, that is Marianne Kitani, the estranged wife of Meru Senator Mithika Linturi, I beg your pardon, being cross-examined by Senators' Council. And of course, we'll definitely be crossing over later on to find out what happens and if we get any new developments on that particular case from Milimani Law Courts.
And keeping tabs with the back-to-school coverage this day, we'd like to take you back to Mombasa, and this is Nyali region to be precise, bringing our reporter Lazarus Maitha, who joins us with an update on some renovation that has been done to a certain school in this particular region. And there he is.
In Mombasa at Nyali constituency, Shauri Yako, and today we have an official opening of one of the schools here known as Pentos Primary School that has been renovated by the current Nyali Member of Parliament, Mohammed Ali. And today we have the official opening, as you can see, of the school right over here. And we are joined by the chairman of the board of members of the parents in this school that will be able to tell us maybe the history of this school and maybe what was what brought about that they have been able to renovate this school and what were the challenges that they were facing. Sasa bwana chairman, karibu tuanzishe kwa majina yako na tueleze historia hii shule, na hii shule imekuwa ni ya community na hii shule imekuwa ina renovatiwa. Hebu tueleze.
Ya, kwa majina naitwa Fred Simiyu, I'm the school chairman. Hii shule imeanzishwa more than 20 years ago na ilianzishwa kama community school. Vile unaona shule yenyewe ilikuwa imeanzishwa kwa shamba ambayo ilikuwa ya serikali. Au wasasi ambao walikuwa hapa they were squatters na wakaona ya kwamba the best way wangefundisha watoto wao ni kutenga sehemu ambayo ndio hii sehemu ambayo ilikuwa itenge kwa sababu kwa ajili ya masomo. Kwa hivyo hii sehemu ilitengwa na wale waliingia hapa mara ya kwanza ya kwamba watenge hii shule ikuwe hivyo. Changamoto ilikuwa ni ya kwamba hawakukuwa na michengo mizuri na pia hawakukuwa na walimu. At that time wazazi wenyewe wamekuwa wakilipa walimu wakati hii shule ilikuwa community school, lakini wakafika mahali unajua shule ikikuwa community school na hii shule pia ambapo ilikuwa kwa shamba la serikali, Krabas pia wakawa wanaingia wanataka kunyakua hii shule kuwe yao. Kwa hivyo kuna wazazi ambao walisimama na hii shule sana, wakasema ya kwamba hii shule kwa vile tulitenga ya kwamba itakuwa ya wanafunzi, itapaki ya community. Kumekuwa na court cases, lakini bahati nzuri wazazi wakafaulu, koti ikawarekeshea hii shule ikakuwa yao mpaka wa leo.
Sasa naona hii shule ilikuwa imekumbwa na janga la mafuriko. Je, sasa hili limeweza kutatuliwa na pia naona mmeweza kupata madarasa mengine. Ni nani aliyewafadhili na ni nani aliyeweza kujenga mambo haya tunayoona hapa?
Ya mafuriko tumetatua kidogo. Mheshimiwa Mohammed Ali amekuwa msaada mkubwa sana. Wakati tulienda kumueleza kuwa tuna shida hii ya shule, ameingia na akatusaidia, ametuchimbia mashimo ya maji. Sasa hii maji yanaingia, drainage system iko vizuri. Tunashukuru sana. Amechipu hii ni kitu ambacho wapunge wengine wa pale nyuma hawakufanya. Na pia si hata hawakujua, tulikuwa tumewaeleza ya kwamba watusaidie, lakini hawakuachipika na hii mambo sana. Kwa hivyo Mohammed Ali ametusaidia, ameshatuchengea huu mchengo. Tunashukuru sana ile kitu ameshatufanyia, na pia tumefanya chukumu hii shule kuiweka kutoka kwa community imekuwa public school. Kwa hivyo ni improvement kubwa. Heko sana kwa Mheshimiwa Mohammed Ali, Mungu amlinde sana. Yeah.
Okay, Sam, back to you is that we see that this school has been able to be renovated once again, and now the students the kids are in good condition, and we see that we have some good structures over there, and today is the official opening of this school, and we expect the Member of Parliament to be opening this school today. Back to you in studio.
Thank you so much, Lazarus Maitha, there with an update. At least that's a breath of fresh air in terms of what we've been reporting when it comes to the infrastructure across not secondary, but primary schools in the country in the wake of the rollout of the competency-based curriculum. So quite an inspiring story. And of course, looking at those pupils there, and just to think that, Shiksha, you were once that size. We were both the same size at one point in our lives. And indeed, I think it was the best time of our lives, really, being in school. Arguably so. As we reminisce about the good old days, let's take a short break. We'll be right back. Make sure you don't go anywhere. Of course, after we get back, we're still going to be telling you what's happening in the courts, plus covering all the live events on the Daily Brief. Stay tuned.